It's important to make sure that your tools are extremely sharp when doing this, and try not to damage the top plate. See, I've got it taped in place, and it's actually just a piece of scrap material left over from when I trimmed the sides to make the miter joints on the side. You want to lay out your line so that you flow from the edge of the lining to the edge of the lining. Lay out all four of these blocks in that same manner. And using the chisel, start at an angle and just slowly pare away the material. If it sticks, change your angle a little bit, your cut angle. Once you're close to the line, use a number 5 sweep and slowly pare the material down until you have the bottom of the block the same shape as the top of the block. Remember, work small. And take small, fine cuts at one time. Don't try to take a big hunk of material off. A couple things could happen if you were to do that. One, you could punch through the plate when you slip. 2, you could actually break the side loose from either the lining or the back plate. I trim the edges of the block a little round from the lining down, and that's basically just to make it look better on the inside. Now I've got the block basically shaped. I'll just dress off the very last portion right at the bottom. Make sure that you don't hit the plate when you're doing this, because you could very easily crack the plate. This area will not be sanded, so the condition that you leave it in with your knife will be the condition it stays in until somebody else takes the instrument apart to either do a repair job or to inspect it. And I'll repeat the same process with the 4 corner blocks. The neck block and the end block are just rounded off on the corners. You got to have 1 1/4 inch of material in this area so that you can attach the neck with the dovetail. The end block, I just round off the corners because all it's going to be holding is the pressure from the chin rest, if you use an over the tail chin rest, and the end pin. I will continue with this until I have shaped the end block, the other 3 corner blocks, and the neck block. Here I have completed shaping the end block, the corner blocks, and the neck block. My next step is to trim the inside along the lining to blend it in smoothly to the side wall, all the way around on the top plate. To do that, I'll be using a scraper. As I work, I just hold the scraper at the proper angle and slowly move it along. And it'll slowly pare away at the lining. I have now completed blending in the top plate lining with the side wall and the top plate. I have a nice smooth transition around the whole edge. What this does for your instrument is redirects the pressure wave produced by the bottom plate and the top plate in on itself without losing a lot of energy, thereby allowing more energy to be imparted to the pressure wave from the top of the plate going out toward the audience. The internal structure consists of the base bar, the linings, and the neck blocks and corner blocks. Inspect the joints of all these parts to make sure there is no loose joints and all your glue joints are sealed and tight. Scrape everything smooth inside the instrument, but do not scrape too much material off of the top plate. You do not want to change the tone of the instrument at this point. When you're finished with the inside of the instrument, set the instrument on your sanding board and flat sand the ribbed surface. Here the flat sanding is completed, and I have checked all the ribs, checked all the glue joints, and scraped the interior of the sides. Using the prepared neck and the fingerboard neck angle gauge, position the neck block. Check the measurements on the plan for the height of the neck above the top plate. Allow the neck to rise above the required height, 1 millimeter. This is a 1/4 inch spacer that I made to help me align the distance from the bottom of the fingerboard to the top plate, which is just under 1/4 of an inch on the plan. Line up your center lines on your neck and on the sides, the neck block. Look down the length of the instrument to see that the fingerboard is in the center of the instrument on the center line, and everything is in alignment. Once you have your alignment corrected, add a clamp to hold it in place while you mark the outline of the neck to the body of the instrument and the top plate. Use a marking knife, lay it flat on the heel, slowly bring it down to the side, and with a gentle movement slide the knife along the side material and up onto the top plate. This will mark the top plate with a very fine line that you can darken in if you wish, but it does make the neck joint of the dovetail very accurate. You'll have to repeat this same process on the other side of the neck. This area of the overhang of the top plate in between the two marked lines must now be removed. Remember the angle of the neck on these two marked lines. Don't cut the line straight, otherwise the top plate will not fit flush against the neck. I have used an X-Acto saw to start the cut through the top plate on both sides of the neck joint. I score it with a straight chisel right along the purfling line, and then slowly, a little bit at a time, working small, I just pare it off back to the purfling.